Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you've been watching all the other ones, right? They're so great. They're so much fun. And you're learning sales at a high level. Hopefully you're actually applying the things I've taught you, right? And now you've increased your client base maybe, 2 to 5 to 10. But if you're missing out parts, you're skipping, you're leaving the video early, it's probably not happening, right? This video today is going to work on your charisma. You're not losing clients because of your prices. You're not losing them because of your experience. You're losing them because you have no presence. And presence is personality. You want to have that locked in. You want to connect with people. You want to pour on the love, pour on the emotion, and make them feel that connection, right? Presence is what makes people trust you before they really understand what you do. Now, obviously, they're going to understand what you do because that's why they're talking to you on the phone today, but in depth, right? I want you to think about something here, okay? And I can relate to this, right? You've been here before. In these situations, you get on a call, you explain everything clearly, you even know, I can really help this person. You're really excited about it, right? And then you get down to the bottom of the conversation, what do they say? They say, I just need to think about it, right? You're used to that. And what do? Follow up, you never hear from them. So you need to feel something. They need to feel something. There has to be something there in the call. It's called connection. All right, how do you get there? Charisma. So you have to understand that because people don't buy, one thing you have to understand is they only buy when they feel certain. Any uncertainty in the deal is essentially going to close it out. So when you're hearing, I need to think about it, sure, charisma is going to do a lot for you. That's the title of the video, right? But at the same time, certainty is really what's going to close the deal for you. So go ahead and get your notes, get your pencil and paper. Let's write this down, all right? The real psychology. So sure, we talk about charisma, but what actually is charisma, okay? There's something in psychology called emotional cognition, all right? An emotional connotation, all right? It means this. People catch your emotional state like a virus, all right? If you're hesitant, they're hesitant. If you're unsure, they're going to doubt. If you're flat, what's going to happen? Disconnect, right? But guess what? Every time that you're certain, your tone's a certain way, you're speaking a certain way, what ends up happening is they relax, right? And your confidence bleeds into them, and that becomes certainty in what they're doing. If you communicate a certain way, you look a certain way, you're moving a certain way, right? You're speaking with common sense and you're being kind and loving, making them feel heard and understood. Certainty, okay? It translates over. So, listen, I've seen 2 accountants say the exact same thing. One closes and one doesn't. Same words, different energy. Now, that should tell you everything. Okay, so your charisma actually matters. What in the world is it? What in the world is charisma? Okay, that excitement. A lot of people think charisma, oh, it's excitement, it's funny, all those things. Well, understand that a lot of it's personality, but charisma is not personality. All right, charisma is not being funny, and charisma is not talking fast or talking loud, right? Oh, he's loud, he's got a lot of... No, charisma is control over how people feel when they're around you. All right, so if you've got good charisma, people feed off of that, right? All of a sudden you'll notice how everyone's in a good mood, okay? So charisma, write this down. Charisma is control over how people feel when they're around you. Now I'm going to break it down into 4 elite components, all right? And make sure you write down all 4. The first one is certainty. Certainty, okay, dominates the interaction. That has to be the main way you're moving. All right, and most accountants, when they're doing sales conversations and video calls, what you'll hear is a tone that's asking for permission. Okay, well, why don't you flip that mindset and become a closer and start speaking like you've already solved the problem? You want to speak as if you've already solved the problem. Okay, now this is what a weak closer would say, right? You're a bookkeeper, but no, you're a closer. Yeah, we can kind of help you with that. Or I'm sure we can help you with that. Well, that's weak. You need something that's elite, okay? Here's what we're going to do. Here's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to show you, grab a pencil and paper. I'm going to show you. Write down this, write down that, write down this. This is what I'm going to do for you. And 6 months from now, after we've done all those things, you tell me what's your life going to be like. Running a business, you're not worried about the revenue, you're not worried about the leaks, X, Y, and Z. Right? They don't want options, guys. They want direction. Right? So your certainty, part of charisma, helps keep them on the path they want to go on. It's direction, right? Enthusiasm, it's huge. It's the emotional driver, right? Get in there with them close, have some fun with them, let your personality... Sometimes you almost need to get into a character mode, right? Where that will allow you to have more charisma than you usually do. Because transfer of emotion is huge. You cannot logically convince someone to care about something. But if you can transfer your belief over to them. And what's that belief come through as? Enthusiasm. But I want to be clear about it, right? Fake enthusiasm will repel people. I can always tell when someone's being weird, right? And I'm like, this is weird. I feel like he's being fake nice to me. Those kinds of things. So real enthusiasm actually comes from knowing the outcome you create matters. Because think about it. Knowing that my services or my value can truly help change the trajectory of somebody's business, that should bring you excitement. Okay? Then you get out in the world and you know how to navigate. You know how to do things. You got more excitement. So knowing that the outcome of what you're doing truly matters, that should help you get excited. So it's not so much that I'm faking that I'm excited. It's that I'm literally excited. But I can help you, that I've got something that can help you change what you've got going on. So if you truly believe like, hey, I can help people save money, I can give them clarity, I can help them build a business, then your voice should always carry weight. And enthusiasm done right, I mean, look at it like this. Watch this. Hey, John, look. I get excited about this because I've seen what happens when people finally understand their numbers. Everything changes for them. Okay, well, what I just did right there, that's not hype, guys. That's conviction. Right? I even pulled it up with the tone a little bit there. Those are the kind of things that you want to do, the micro skills that make a difference. So if you can do those things and be cognizant while you're operating a call, my tone, my enthusiasm, well, darn it, believe in what you're doing. That's going to carry all that octane in your voice to what you're doing. So the next thing is write down presence, right? And this is where most lose, right? Your presence is your ability to slow everything down. Move like you're in water. Move like you're in mud, right? Most people rush because you're nervous. Your main thing, you got to think, all right, crunching numbers and advising and doing all that fun stuff. But also, you want to be good at this, okay? You want to be good at this. You don't want to be nervous. You want to get in there like a pro and slow down and be in control. Just speak slower. Pause after key points. Let the silence do the work. Understand that, like, silence creates tension. The more quiet I am, I notice the more the prospect will talk to me. And a lot of times what's happening, they're talking themselves into the deal. Well, I don't want to do this for another 6 months, and I can't imagine it would be like this, and I'm just sitting there quiet, and they're just talking away. Right? So tension creates decisions. So the person who is most comfortable in silence normally controls the conversation. It's when you get in there and you're nervous and your rate of speech is increased, and you're blah, 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 that kind of crap. People feel that, right? And you don't want that. So I would say number 4 would be the hidden killer, is intent. Yes, intent helps develop charisma. Okay, so this is advanced. People can feel why you're talking to them. If your intent is, I hope they buy, you lose. If your intent is, I'm here to help you make the right decision, you win. Because pressure disappears and what will happen, trust will go up. Okay? So, understand, they can feel it, what your intent is. Are you nervous? Or are you there to help provide value? Those kinds of things. They're looking for them, right? And they're going to want to make sure, hey, is this the right person for me? They'll talk with you a little bit, but their gut's going to tell them all the answers they need to know. So be convicted. Believe in what you're doing. Why accountants struggle? Why accountants struggle? Well, you guys know why you're struggling. All right, but let's be honest. All right, most accountants were trained to be accurate, be detailed, avoid mistakes, not influence, lead, or persuade. So what happens is you default to explaining instead of leading. And that's the number one thing you don't want to do. You want to lead, not explain, right? And explainers don't get paid. Leaders do. So next time you get on a call, I want you to shift one thing. Stop trying to sound so darn smart, right? That's part of the problem. And what I need you to do is sound certain. You can be smart. Why don't you focus on providing value and sounding certain instead of trying to sound smart? Who cares that you're smart? Who cares that you have all these degrees, and who cares about all that stuff? Can you get in front of someone, provide value, and speak with certainty because you're convicted in your services that you can offer for someone? That translate through charisma, creates energy and belief. All these things that we've talked about. And all those other videos I posted lean into these kinds of videos like this one. Well, instead of let me explain how our bookkeeping works, that's not bad, but here's something that's better. Here's what's going to happen when you and I start working together. Instead of let me explain how our bookkeeping works, which is not bad, right? Here's what's going to happen when we start working together. Now you're leading. That kind of simple shift in your wordplay right there is huge, right? Here's another one for you. So after you explain, I want you to pause. How's that sound so far? Let them step into the conversation. Give them opportunities. I provide good value. How's that sound so far? Okay, you got to let them talk with you and figure that out, right? Here's one of my favorite things to do is identity shifting. So this is where everything changes, okay? If you see yourself as just an accountant, you'll sound like one. But if you see yourself as a financial strategist, a business builder, or someone who creates outcomes, what ends up happening is you speak differently because you see yourself differently, and people will feel it instantly. Truthfully, right? Now, one thing you got to remember is you don't sell services, you sell clarity, control, and confidence. All right? Now understand, if you master charisma, okay, you don't have to chase anymore. You're not going to feel like a salesy person. Right? You don't have to convince. You need to lead people to decisions. So if you're serious about making real money as an accountant, bookkeeper, or tax professional, you need to subscribe, because essentially in these videos I'm going to teach you how to control conversations, close high quality clients, and build a real business. Not just do taxes or bookkeeping, but more importantly, go and check out our certifications at Universal Accounting Center. If you like the video, make sure you continue to watch them. All right? I definitely think if you watched my first video to this video, you should be making over $100,000 a year in sales. So keep watching them. I'll see you in the next one.